Hello everyone. Surely you have seen how discussions about politics devolve into people accusing each other of being Nazis for no good reason. This is a very well-known phenomenon known as Godwin's law. However, have you noticed that the very same thing happens when people talk about sexuality? We have these nonsense accusations of pedophilia. This is Godwin's law applied to sexuality. I would call it pedoparanoia. This paranoia about children and pedophiles. The most obvious and most well-known, well, we have this myth that women must stay at home, they must take care of the children themselves. They can't put children in daycare and they can't let their husbands help with taking care of their mutual children, because if you leave children in a daycare center, then the global pedophile satanist conspiracy will take your children, and if your husband helps with taking care of the children, surprise, surprise, that means he's a pedophile as well. Well, this particular wave has probably passed by now. It was very big like a decade ago, but civilization moves on, thankfully. But the basic phenomenon remains. In pedoparanoia, you refuse to make the distinction between sexual attraction towards children and three very different things. First of all, stuff that has nothing to do with sexual attraction or sexual acts at all. Second, sexual attraction and or acts that has nothing to do with children. And finally, sexual abuse against children. When you mix up these four things, pretend that they are the same thing, you get something really absurd and disgusting. Perhaps you have heard people accusing gay people of being pedophiles. Well, that is a classic example of this pedoparanoia, this Godwin's law applied to sexuality. Just the other day I read the same thing about sadomasochists. If we have this adult couple who enjoy spanking, then that must mean that they are pedophiles or that one of them is a pedophile or whatever. I have also encountered this kind of pedoparanoia as a racist argument against mixing races. The argument being that if we have one man of one skin color and a woman of another skin color, if they have a relationship, then that must mean that the man is a pedophile. What? You might have heard other equally absurd versions. Please tell me about them, I'm interested. I think the basic thing behind Godwin's law and pedoparanoia, it is this thing I call abyss category. When people divide themselves into groups, we have in-group and out-group. And the thing I call abyss category, that is out-group on an epic scale, it is something that an entire society used to define itself against. The basic logic here is that Nazis and pedophiles are the very definition of what we are not. Therefore, if you are not like I want you to be, then that must mean that you are a Nazi and or a pedophile. It's a really simple logic, and of course a really bad logic. So that's all I have to say for today. Have a good time, live long and prosper.